Hello and welcome to Never Seen It, a podcast about movies we haven't seen yet. I'm one of your hosts, Trent. I'm here with my wife, Betsy.
That's me.
Hey, Betsy. So today we're going to be watching one of my favorite comedies of all time, Clerks by Kevin Smith. Somehow you have gone, 25 years-ish?
20 some odd years, yeah.
20 some odd years, haven't seen Kevin Smith's original movie.
It's true. So full disclosure, Trent has tried to get me to watch this movie the entire time we've been together, which is almost 10 years. And one time he was successful in getting me to start this movie. So I've seen the beginning of Clerks, but I was also very tired after a long day of work. And after about half hour fell asleep. And I woke up and there was some part that I didn't understand. It was very out of context. So
she was very polite, and she didn't say that, I fell asleep.
So by the time he noticed that I had been sleeping for 25 minutes, I'd missed most of the movie, so we turned it off. And we just haven't gone back to it. It's not that I have anything against the movie. I've seen other Kevin Smith movies and quite enjoyed them. Yeah. I think he's an entertaining guy. But for some reason, his earliest one has escaped me. I've just never taken the time to watch it.
Would you classify this as kind of a classic of some kind? Just based on the oeuvre?
Certainly a cult classic. Yeah. I think this is certainly a cult classic, if it's anything.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, this is an achievement in cinema. No, it's a movie about... It's a stupid movie about people who hate their jobs.
It's basically a student film because he made this out the gate, did he not? For $25,000 or something.
He did it
some cheap number.
Super cheap. I think it came out in 94.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Black and white for some reason, and I think the reason
cheaper.
I think the reason why he made it in black and white is because the film that he was able to buy was cheaper if it was black and white.
Oh, yeah. Well, we haven't talked too much about it, but my uncle made a movie, and the way he was able to do it on the cheap was there's a company that would sell, the ends of the reels. Yeah. So if they had an hour-long... Because this is in the days of actual film. Yeah. So let's say your roll of film is good for 30 minutes, and you film for 17. Well, that extra 13 minutes can be purchased and used.
Yeah. You just have to make short scenes.
Yes. So and most of the time that's how you're doing it anyway. You have the camera on, you do a couple of shots, even just B-roll. Yeah. It'll get the job done. He did the whole movie that way.
Yeah. I have not seen that movie yet. Eventually we might have to see
My family listening to this will be appalled that you have not watched my uncle's movie.
I haven't. So I've watched. Yes, Class President is. Hey, look it up on Amazon.
It's on
there,
Amazon.
Yeah.
Prime.
Yeah.
Streaming.
Class President.
But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about Clerks.
Yeah. So Clerks. So Betsy, based on the little that you watched it, and based on the zeitgeist that you've absorbed, what do you know about Clerks?
So I have several friends who love this movie and you who love this movie. So I know little beats, references and jokes from the movie. I know it's two guys who don't exactly work super hard. One of them at a convenience store and one at a video store, I think I want to say. Mm-hmm. And I know there's the sheet or something on the window that says, "I assure you we're open." For whatever reason, the door doesn't open and they can't get it back up, so they put up a cheap sign. I know this is the first appearance of Jay and Silent Bob.
Yes.
They are loitering outside the store selling their wares.
Wares.
A polite way to say they're selling drugs. Weed. They sell weed. They're weed dealers. And this is basically that guy's life. He just kind of always works. I remember that at the beginning, he's having a day off or he's not supposed to be there till later and his boss says, "Oh, so-and-so can't come in. Can you come in?" And he always goes in.
Yeah.
And I've been that guy before. Like, I'm always available. I have nothing else to do. You know I'm around. And that was me in college and right after.
Yeah.
I just worked all the time. Beyond that, I don't really know much about the context. I know it's just...
I think you probably just don't know the beats. You
No.
understand the overall,
Yeah.
what this is about, but like the beat... I distinctly remember like a week or two ago, I described the significance of the number 37.
Right, and you had to explain it to me.
Yes.
And I will get to that scene,
We'll
obviously.
get to it.
I know there's the bit where they just kind of leave coins on the counter because everybody at a certain time is just getting a newspaper and a cup of coffee. And so they just say, be honest, and they fuck off and go do something else. Yeah, so I know little things like that. I'm aware there's a Clerks 2. I'm also aware they're trying to get a Clerks 3 off the ground. We'll see if there's anything ever comes to fruition.
He just made a Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which we will have to see. Full confession, I haven't seen the Jay and Silent Bob reboot yet. We'll probably do that in this podcast eventually. But that's not what we're going to be watching today.
No! Clerks!
So we're going to go off and watch the fantastic movie, Clerks.
It's finally happening, Trent!
We'll be right back. We're back. So, Betsy, how was that?
It occurs to me, I fell asleep like almost immediately the last time we watched this because there's a large chunk of this. I did not remember most of that.
Okay.
I think I must have made it about the first 10 to 15 minutes in this movie and fell asleep because I did not remember like anything.
See, I remember you falling asleep like near the end.
No, I fell asleep during the beginning quite clearly.
I must have been really paying attention to the movie then because...
You really were. So,
Yeah.
Okay, the bit that we kind of touched on tonight was you have the edition that has the cartoon segment in the middle. So this is what I remember the last time we watched this. I fell asleep and I woke up watching a cartoon and I was incredibly confused.
Yeah, and then you probably just went back to sleep.
Yes. But I made it to the end this time. I can see why you like this movie.
Yeah?
The thing that we've talked about before is people who... How do we phrase this? People speaking in a certain way that doesn't match who they are in their life. So, like, these guys are having these very wordy, vocabulary-heavy conversations, but about stupid shit. And you know, like we love like Snatch, like movies where the gangsters are talking bigger than they don't, the juxtaposition of the way they talk to who they are as characters is very different. And same thing in this movie. So I understand why that is appealing to you.
And to people in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It took me a little while to get into it because, you know, these people are not actors.
No.
They're very, very low level actors. If they are, they're newcomers.
You've never seen these guys in anything else other than these movies.
Right.
His movies.
I have only seen these guys in Kevin Smith movies.
Yeah.
And this is their first one. Like, I looked it up. Jason Mewes was 20 years old, maybe 19. He's a baby.
All these guys are babies.
Though Kevin Smith doesn't appear to age.
Yeah.
One thing I noted. Yeah, this is also an incredibly 90s movie.
How do you mean, Betsy?
Wow. So, I don't really know how they got away with having all of the brand names and everything in the background.
In the convenience. That was shot in a convenience store.
And the movie store. They had all the movie boxes. I was looking, like every time they were in the video store, I saw titles like VHS tapes. The artwork that I recognized.
I think the reason why they were able to get away with that was because all the movies that they were showing were Miramax movies.
Oh, that would do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't explain the convenience store part, but...
Kevin Smith did the same thing in Jersey Girl.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Liv Tyler?
Liv Tyler works in a movie store.
I don't remember that.
And in the movie store, it's nothing but Miramax movies.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good way to get around it because the keen observer would notice that, but somebody just kind of glancing.
I noticed that.
If I actually went and like nitpicked and paid attention, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's very 90s. Like I found myself looking at like the microwave in the convenience store.
I just look at the wardrobe.
The wardrobe, the boot, like the close up of his boots lacing up his Doc Martens before he goes to work. Everyone's wearing flannel and acid wash jeans.
and I pointed out while we were watching, there was a woman holding her kid in the video store. Happy Scrabby Hero Pup. She was wearing a bum equipment jacket.
Oversized bum equipment.
Oh.
Big
When's
blonde,
the last time you saw
hair.
a bum equipment piece of clothing anywhere?
I don't know the last time I thought of bum equipment.
But yes, I take your point. It is an extremely 90s movie.
Yeah, and then just, there's a part of it that... Watching it now, there's a lot of enjoyment in it because you go, oh my gosh, the box, the label, the Gatorade in a glass bottle, things like that you just kind of take for granted now.
The logo treatments, the designs of everything, totally.
Cigarettes being $1.65.
Yeah, so that was very authentic for the time. It just makes the movie be more authentic because that's a convenience store. Yeah, that's a video store.
Yep. Yeah. They didn't need to make it an elaborate set piece. They said it's a convenience store. It's full of conveniences.
Yeah. The thing that I identify with this movie is, you know what? Everybody's had shitty jobs like this. Mm-hmm. Most people have anyway.
Yeah.
My first job was I was a bus boy, and then I worked at Kmart, and then, I've worked call centers and things. Everybody's had shitty jobs with shitty customers that you don't really like going to, but damn it, it pays the bills. And you know what? I have made most of my friends in my life at my jobs that I've hated.
Yeah.
So
because you all commiserate together, it's a shared experience. Yeah. Like we all hate our jobs.
Yeah.
Hey,
let's make the job better by being friends and having fun being friends.
Yeah. I hate my job. I hate my job. Oh my God, let's be friends.
We have something in common.
So not necessarily even in a job that I hate, but just the experience of dealing with customers.
Yeah.
Like the whole movie, how many times did people come in and ask, "Are you open?
Yeah.
Are you open? Are you?"
He goes out of his way to put up a sign saying, "Yes, we are open."
I assure you, we are open. And I've had that experience where the lights are off, the signs say closed, the doors are locked. There's nobody there, and people come up to the window and go, "Are you open?"
Yeah, just because you have a physical presence in there.
Do I look open? Like, that's the exact opposite experience of this, but I get that. Just customers stating the obvious. Like, the girl standing in front of a sign, how much does this cost? And it's a big sign that says 99 cents this area. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts that people are predictable in that fashion and relatable to anybody who's worked customer service.
One of the best lines in this entire movie is, "This job would be great if it wasn't for all the fucking customers."
Yes. Oh, I think that's most jobs.
Yes.
That's most jobs.
Yeah. Oh. Randall is just what everybody is thinking at all times while working. He just says what he thinks. Mm-hmm. He says what everybody would love to say and love to do to customers. He just does it and he says it. Mm-hmm. Yes. And then Dante is the straight-laced, hey, I'm going to do this job professionally, goddammit. I don't care that it's a shitty job. I'm going to make it into a much bigger thing. That's kind of how I was when I was younger. Mm-hmm. In my later years, I know that, oh, yeah, geez, those were shit jobs. I got
overnight at a hotel.
I got paid peanuts, and they had me do all these extra things that I wasn't really qualified to do, but I did them anyway, just because, hey, I was there. I don't want to be bored, and I want to be valuable to these people. But at the same time, they took advantage of me. Just like they did.
His boss, he's like, oh, can you come into work? Yeah, I'll be there by noon. He's in Vermont.
Yeah, his fucking boss convinces him to come in. He could have said no.
Yeah.
He could have said no.
But he knew he would say yes.
Yes.
That's the problem.
That's why he asked him.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the trouble with being a good employee and being a reliable employee. Even if it's a job you hate and it's terrible, you care too much. I am very guilty of caring too much. When I was in after college or in college, I can't quite remember. I was working like 3 jobs at the same time, and they were all part-time. But I would have to intentionally schedule days off, because otherwise I would get called into work, and or I would be scheduled to work one of them. Even if it was only a few hours, I'd be scheduled to work. And then in college, I had it. I worked at a hotel. We both had that experience. You worked at the front desk. I did housekeeping. Yeah. And in the summertime, they needed extra help doing housekeeping. And that's one of those jobs where people just kind of decide, I'm not going to go to work today.
Yep.
And they never come back.
Yep.
I had so many coworkers in a single summer.
Yeah.
And I would pick up the phone. They'd say, are you available? Could you come in? I was always available. I would always come in.
Yeah.
I would work. One weekend I worked, the start of the week was like Sunday or Monday on their calendar, and I had worked 30 some hours in like 2.5 days. So my boss had to be like, so we have to give you tomorrow off because you have too many hours.
Yeah. And of course, that's something that you might be able to make good money, because that you could also get tips. If you worked at a good hotel, and you did.
I did. And, I wasn't sad about it. I was working my butt off because it was summertime, and that's where I made my money. I didn't really work during the school year that much anyway. I didn't make that much money at it anyhow.
Whereas when I worked at a hotel, I worked the overnight shift from 11 p.m. until 7 a.m. Not every day, but 5 days a week. I worked full-time. I got 0 benefits.
Yep.
I worked there for about 9 months.
And you were an insane person.
Yeah. I had to completely change my sleep schedule. It took me about a week to get used to sleeping during the day. I had to get like blackout film to put on my windows and put blackout curtains on there to make it nighttime. I completely changed my way of sleeping, and I only worked there for 9 months. So, hey. But of course, at the time, I was a lot younger, and I would stay up late. I was always a night owl. We were
so nimble back then.
Yeah, I was always a night owl. I would love to stay up late, but then I realized, what the hell do I do on my nights off?
Yep.
All my friends worked regular jobs, or they were going to school, or, didn't work a graveyard shift.
So let's bring him back to the movie for a second. So the very first scene, so he closed the store the night before, and they're open till like 10 or 11 or something. Yep. And then his boss calls him at like 5:45.
Something like that, yeah.
And he's sleeping in his closet. Why is he sleeping in his closet?
When you're 22, sometimes you find yourself in a comfortable position, and you just want to stay there.
In your closet?
Sure. I mean, What else do you do when you're 22? You probably drink every single night. It doesn't matter if you just got off work or not.
That was my assumption, was that he was just drunk.
Right. And you're not expecting to have to go to work the next morning. Why the hell did he even answer the phone is my question.
Well, especially in those days, it was real easy to avoid phone calls. You take the phone off the hook.
Yeah.
It will not ring if it can't ring. It's busy. It's called a busy signal.
What's a cell phone in 94?
No one. Well, that's more technology in this movie. It's riddled with the pay phone that's just for employees and his landline.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Calling the newspaper to see if there's a misprint.
The amount of people who bought newspapers at all in this movie. 35 cents. 35 cents.
Yep.
One after another. And they all come in there and they're predictable.
Yep.
He leaves money on the counter and just says, that's all they want.
You remember that portion. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so the reference points I have are from people who have seen this movie. The other bit that I didn't remember that I knew was the thing that Silent Bob says about lasagna.
Yeah.
Where he says, not every girl's gonna bring you lasagna at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember somebody telling me that one. I was waiting for him to speak because I know Silent Bob, when he speaks, it's either out of pure frustration or he opens his mouth to share a gem of wisdom.
Something profound.
Yes. And in these earlier ones, it tends to be the something profound. It's not until later that he's just like, oh my God!
Well, in Jane Silent Bob Strike Back, he's exasperated with Jay saying the sign on the fucking car said, what is it, Animals of Hollywood or something.
Yeah. The sign!
And now, one thing I've thought about on occasion with this movie is that 94, you weren't seeing movies like this.
No.
You're not seeing movies where it's just people talking. This is all 100% dialogue, where people are talking like the way people talk.
And the 90s were really the real birth of independent movie companies and independent movies.
Totally.
Because everything before that had to be a big studio picture.
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Especially Miramax.
Yeah.
I bet this was amongst the first, their first wave of movies.
Yeah, this is Miramax came into being a bigger studio in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
Because they followed this up with Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
That won a fucking Oscar.
I think they did Shakespeare in Love, too.
Yep, I think they did, too. But yeah, mid-90s for Miramax, huge. This is also a very, very cursy movie. And I don't remember a whole lot of movies like this where people are just casually cursing in conversation. Now, people write movies with cursing as emphasis or, comedic purposes. This is just people talking. They use it
strategically.
Right. This is just people talking.
It's peppered in.
Yeah. I never saw movies like that before this.
I would have to think about that to think about the first time I saw a movie like this because it's so commonplace now.
Yeah. It's conversational.
Yeah. We do it all the time.
Sure.
Fuck, we do it all the time.
Yes, totally. The conversation, okay, going back to one of the scenes in the movie, do you remember that Star Wars conversation?
That's the stupid kind of shit we talk about.
Yeah.
Like extrapolating on an idea.
Yes. That is the kind of shit that we talk about all the time. Mm-hmm. Like taking one bit of information. Overanalyzing it to the nth degree. And
the independent contractors of the Death Star 2.0.
And, having an opinion on both sides. Mm-hmm.
I am a contractor, and let me tell you, I get to pick the jobs I take. I'm trying to think of a conversation like that. We did talk in circles for about 20 minutes about she'll be coming around the mountain.
Yeah, I can't even remember.
Who is she? And why is she coming around the mountain? And how do you know what baggage she's bringing with her? We talked about that for
It was like 30, 40 minutes.
far too long. Far too long.
Oh, man, I remember that. So, yeah, this is a movie that you're going to watch with your friends. Basically.
That's kind of what I was thinking about. It was like, it was amusing while I'm watching it. It wasn't like cracking me up completely, but I could totally understand, like, already contextually, I know about it because I talked about it with a friend.
Yeah. And
it's the sort of thing where you just casually quote it or bring it up, and it becomes, you know, it becomes part of your friendship and your dynamic, and it grows beyond that. You know, another movie like that for me is Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
I had seen Scott Pilgrim before you and I started dating, and you hadn't. Yeah. And then I introduce you to this?
Yes, you figured I would probably like Scott Pilgrim.
This might be something you'll like.
Yeah, we watched it when we were dating. We watched it in your apartment. You had it on DVD, and we watched it, and I loved it.
And we've seen this movie now well over a dozen times together in bits and pieces, or from beginning to end.
At least.
And I don't think hardly a day goes by where one of us doesn't say bread makes you fat.
We have an embroidered little thing on our refrigerator that says that exact phrase.
But that's this kind of a movie. Like, in the beginning, it doesn't necessarily, if I had sat down and watched this by myself, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much. But because you like it, and because other friends like it, I'm going to get, like, text messages if I just, like, send a quote from this. Yeah. I'm going to get the same in return. Well, and it becomes a thing.
Well, and I think, just like with Scott Pilgrim, you saw it, you liked it. Maybe you didn't like it as much as we like it now, but you shared it with me. This is a movie that you share with people.
Yeah.
So with Scott Pilgrim, you shared that with me because you thought that I would like it, and that I got more out of it because you thought that.
Yeah.
If I would have saw that movie by myself, same way. I don't know if I would have liked it as much, but because we can have that kind of... Now, this could be just movies in general, but there are movies like this that help when you can identify with somebody else's enjoyment of it.
You can figure out why they like it.
Yeah.
And I totally get why you like Clerks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it more for that connection with your own personal tastes and your life experiences, because I think you've worked way more of these kind of crap jobs than I've had to, but we both hate customers, which is really terrible when we both work customer service. Right. Now, don't get me wrong, there's definitely people who make the job interesting, like the characters they show, like the weird customers. I was reading the credits and I didn't even really think about the fact that some of them are the same person multiple times. Like, as part of me kind of thought, oh, he sort of looks familiar.
But they're on screen for such a small amount of time, and they change them up just a little bit.
They shoot him from a different angle, or they do their makeup and
change
their hair.
Change the hair different,
The guy with the eggs. The whole sequence about the eggs. And then every time they're having these conversations, a customer is like this expert about the topic of conversation. They just happen to walk in and say, well, I know about this, good sir or madam.
I've actually seen this.
I've seen it before. Shell shock, really?
Oh, by the way, my profession is artificially inseminating farm animals.
I think there's a lot of analysis of this movie you could probably do. All the fact that it's like little vignettes and they all have different title cards.
I mean, referring back to what you said about, you know, these are people who are having like intelligent conversations, and there were words like juxtaposition and denouement. And
Paradigm.
Yeah, like big words like that really don't have much to do with the movie itself. I don't think I've ever heard a description of why he did that, why he threw in those words in between the scenes.
Well, and knowing Kevin Smith, if you asked him, you'd start with the one question and he'd talk for 2 hours about something else entirely.
That's kind of his shtick, though.
That's kind of his shtick.
Yeah.
He'd answer it kind of.
Eventually he'd get there. The whole, like, talking back to the customers.
Yep.
You know, one of the words they say is catharsis.
Yes.
Where you can actually get out this pent-up anger and frustration on these customers that you little Betsy would never be able to do in your job.
No, I would be asked to leave and never return.
Yes.
Because that's what it's really like in customer service. They have a tendency to take the side of the person you screamed at.
Yeah.
Or spit on in this movie.
Right. But yeah, having that, I think, is a great... it's a treat for the audience, for anybody who's actually worked in jobs like that.
Yeah, you spit on that guy.
Right. And then you have a conversation with your friend after the fact. It's like, why the hell did you do that? Well, it's because whatever.
Free will.
Yeah.
I chose to do it, and I did it.
And if I get fired, I get fired. I'll go get a different job. It's no big deal.
So at the near the end of the movie, Dante is saying that thing about, it's not that simple. I can't just change my life and like comfort levels and stuff. I totally get that.
Yeah.
Because, whenever I start a job, I'm always like, what am I doing? I'm in over my head. I am overwhelmed because everybody around you knows what they're doing. And you're the idiot who doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. And it is a horrible experience. Even no matter how nice people are and patient with you, you just feel like this stupid idiot who's just like, I'm learning to walk and please be patient with me.
And especially if you're the type that wants to be a good worker.
Yes.
You are not a perfectionist, but you want to be good at your job because you normally are good at your jobs.
And you get there eventually.
Yeah.
But then once you're good at it, you're like, well, I can't change now because I'm good at this now.
Right. I'm not going to be good at the next thing I do.
Because I'll be that idiot again.
Right. I'll go back to square one or whatever it happens to be, which is why people tend to stay in the same careers for a long time, not necessarily the same jobs.
Yep.
Yeah. I totally had that same... I think you and I are similar in that way. Like, we stay in jobs until, it just doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about an alternate ending.
An alternate ending?
An alternate ending to this. That was actually filmed, but never was put into the movie.
Okay.
The alternate ending is, so at the very end, so Randall goes outside and like grabs the sheet that says, I assure you we're still open.
And he takes it down and
takes it down, throws it at him. There is more to that scene after that. What happens is Dante picks up the thing, goes back behind the counter, and a person comes in the store, and Dante says, hey, actually, we're closed. The person who comes in robs him, shoots him dead.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's an armed robbery, and Dante is dead. It gets killed.
Well, that would be a downer of an... They filmed this?
Yes, I've seen this.
Where have you seen this?
I think it's been on like...
Special features
Yeah,
or something?
like DVD special features.
And what has Mr. Smith to say about why that was...
I don't remember.
The initial way he did it.
I don't remember what was the reasoning behind it. But yeah, that was an alternate ending.
Don't like that.
No. It would make Clerks 2 a hell of a lot harder to do.
Well... Yeah, that's dark.
It's very dark.
It's dark. Like there's dark humor, and that's just dark.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really fit with the rest of the movie because they play like he toes that line definitely, like all the middle part where they go to the wake and he shoves they don't show it, like the bit in the middle is the cartoon that's not a scene in the movie, and they just cut right to you push the casket over.
Her fucking body fell out.
And it's funnier that way. Like, you don't need to see the sequence of it happening because you are just as mortified by what he did without seeing it.
I think it works better. It definitely works better without you seeing what happens in the place.
And see, that makes it funny.
Yeah.
If you know, that's dark, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Shooting him at the end of the movie would just have been dark.
It's too much.
It's too much. Like, if you had found a way, like in the 90s, everybody was all about like a dream sequence, so to speak.
Yeah.
If it had been like his imagination and then cut to, oh, well, he just was thinking it.
Yeah.
It's not real.
It'd be different.
Then in the context of the time this movie was made, that would have been funny.
Yeah.
But no, that would not be funny. Mm-hmm. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yeah, and that's another thing where, so there's a lot of repeated lines and callbacks and jokes that I attribute that to, this is Kevin Smith's first movie.
But sometimes that also works. Like,
to a point.
People keep saying, like, what smells like shoe polish? That's funny.
Yeah.
Like, the more it happens.
It's a throwaway thing by the end of it. But so at the very beginning, it's funny. A couple of times after that, it's still funny. Middle of the movie, come on, stop talking about the damn shoe polish. At the end, it becomes funny again.
You let it sit for a while. That's the thing. He lets it go. Yeah. He lets it sit and simmer, and then when he brings it around, it is funny again.
And that's one thing. But he does that with like 3 or 4 different repeated lines.
That's true.
So again, I attribute that to Kevin Smith being a first-time filmmaker for this particular movie. But at the same time, he still brings those kinds of jokes into his later movies. Mm-hmm. I can't even remember which movie it is, but the guy who plays Dante shows up in another Kevin Smith movie. It's just a cutaway.
Dogma.
Is it Dogma?
He's a newscaster.
But
is that what you're thinking of?
But he says, I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yeah, I think it's in Dogma.
Is that in Dogma? Okay.
Yeah, because it's the only one where... Because he's shown up in other movies, but he's always Dante.
Yeah.
Which actually, let's be honest, there's probably some joke about that because Dante's Inferno. Like, you could probably get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's in Dogma because we just watched that not long ago, and I remember.
And he is a character in that movie.
Yes, but he's not playing Dante; he's playing a newscaster. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. See, and now that joke's funny to me because that joke wasn't funny to me.
Right.
Because I'd never seen Clerks.
So, just talking about, as long as we're talking about Kevin Smith movies, there are a couple of movies that we haven't seen.
Or at least I haven't. Or
are there
any that you just...
I've never seen Mallrats.
I've also never seen Mallrats. I've never seen Mallrats. I've never seen Clerks 2, obviously.
Yep. You haven't seen
Chasing Amy.
Chasing Amy, and we haven't seen the most recent one, the Jay and Bob reboot.
Well, there's other ones too.
There are other.
Depends on.
It's not in what he calls
vein.
the View-esque universe.
Yeah, like Catch and Release. Isn't that actually one of his movies?
I've never even heard of that. Red State is another one. That
Jennifer Garner movie?
Oh, God.
He's got something to do with that movie.
Sure. He's helped produce a lot of different movies, but not actually written and directed a lot.
Yeah.
Red State is one of them. Has nothing to do with any of the other movies he's done, as far as I know.
I don't think so.
But I've never seen that one either. I definitely want you to see Clerks 2 and Chasing Amy. And eventually we will get to the Jay and Bob reboot.
Yep.
Because I've been wanting to see that since it came out. But for some reason, just haven't seen it.
You know, now in retrospect, I'm kicking myself that we didn't do the road show. Because he and Jason Mewes were on tour with the movie. Yep. And they had like a Q&A. And that was like 2 months before the world shut down. And if we had just gone, we'd have been able to... have a story, something to tide us over.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, just based on the types of movies that he makes and the kinds of dialogue that he creates, the people that he puts in the movies.
Yeah, Oh, Zach and Miri Make a Porno.
We've seen that one.
That's another one he did.
Yep.
That's one that Jason Mewes is in, but he doesn't play Jay.
Right.
He plays another character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to just talk to Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
I think based on the conversations that he writes for other people and the interviews I've seen him do and the stories I've heard him tell.
The amount of podcasting that man does.
Yes, he's a dork.
Yeah.
He is a nerdy little boy.
Yeah.
He's a little man boy.
Yeah.
In like the best possible sense. Yeah. And like we watched his.
He is a man who loves what he loves.
Yes.
And he is not shy about it in one bit.
He is unabashedly a fanboy.
Yeah. Of whatever it is that
whatever.
he is paying attention to. If he likes it, damn it, he's going to tell you about it. And if it sucks, he's going to tell you that too.
Mm-hmm. He loves comic books. He loves movies. He loves.
Yeah. Comic book movies.
Comic book movies. Yeah, one of my favorite Kevin Smith stories is when he went to a protest of Dogma.
Yeah.
If you've not heard this story, when Dogma came out, people were pretty upset about it because obviously it is about religion, specifically the Catholic faith, and people didn't take very kindly to it, and he heard there was going to be a protest in front of this movie theater, so he decided to go, and like he made a sign, and he was out there protesting with all these people, and they interviewed him for the news. And nobody knew who he was.
The greatest
I
thing.
think he even said his name was Kevin Smith.
Known Catholic, Kevin Smith.
I don't think they actually he didn't mask the fact it was him at all, but nobody knew who he was because it was in small town, middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Oh, I'm going to this." Yeah. But there you go, Kevin Smith. He's a joy.
I'm sure we will get back to him.
If you're out there, Kevin Smith, drop us a line.
Yeah.
You're a cool dude.
Yeah.
But Clerks.
I think that'll about do it. It's a movie that I hold pretty dearly. Full, warts and all. I love the, shoestring budget nature of it. Mm-hmm. I think I love that one the most of all. It's just him and a bunch of his friends, with, bad equipment and, black and white film and
probably wearing the clothes they own.
Yeah. No such thing as wardrobe in that context. I think the weirdest thing about the entire movie is the hockey scene. I think they could have done anything. They could have gone anywhere. They could have done anything. But again, it was just one of these things that we can do this, right? Yeah? Okay, we'll do it. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things that, hey, it's a distraction from whatever it is going on. It's a reason for him to be able to film something different.
Yeah. In the daylight.
Outside.
Mm-hmm.
Literally outside. But yeah.
I had the thought when I was watching that he's so like, I got this game at 2. I'm gonna play the game at 2. I forget sometimes what a big deal hockey was in the 90s, in the early 90s in particular. Yeah. The era of Wayne Gretzky. Mm-hmm. Like the one time that all of America was like, yeah, hockey!
Yeah, he wasn't even American.
He wasn't even American!
He played for an American team.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
There's some other moments of context like that too, like going back where you were saying they talked about Jedi. Return of the Jedi came out in 1983.
Yeah.
That was a decade before they made this.
Yeah,
when he was making this movie, Return of the Jedi was, when he was writing it, it was probably 8 years old.
Yeah.
Like, we're so far removed from it now, but it's weird to think about that point in time.
But you know what? This movie still holds up even with all that being said. Because I feel like we reference Star Wars in every single one of these episodes, but you know what? Star Wars is...
Episode 1, Episode 2. Which episode were we referencing to?
Right. But yeah, the references still hold up.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't a lot of outdated things in this movie.
The clothes.
Well, I mean, like the references.
No.
Renting tapes is not a thing anymore. Video stores don't really exist anymore. Blockbuster is no longer a thing.
Oh, that's such a shame too, because that when I was growing up, that was my dream.
Yeah.
That was my dream job.
Yeah.
Because as evidenced by us having this podcast where we're talking about movies,
Yeah.
I love talking about movies. I love watching movies. Working in a video store was the dream.
Yeah, when you were a kid, that was the dream because, hey, you could tell people what you thought was good, and you can tell people what you thought was bad. Yeah. You can make recommendations based on what they like and based on what you like. I
don't appreciate your ruse, man.
I don't appreciate your ruse. Your cunning attempt to trick me.
But yeah, it's of its time. So it's that stuff that kind of gives it the context where it's dated, but it's not dated. It's just dated enough, it's dated in the way that you can pinpoint exactly when this movie was made.
Totally.
You have enough context to know this movie was made in the early to mid 90s, from the way they are dressed, from what they're doing, and like just things like rollerblades and video stores. But you're right, it doesn't otherwise, like the conversations and the topics they have are timeless.
Yeah, the concepts that they're referring to, and the relationship talk. Those are the kinds of problems and situations that you run into in your early 20s. We haven't talked about that at all.
No, like being, that girl I dated in high school for 5 years and she cheated on me the whole time. Why do you want to be with this horrible woman?
Yeah.
What's so great about her?
Right.
She's awful.
Yeah.
And you're an idiot.
Yeah,
that's that comfort thing again.
Yeah, he wants to be comfortable
Yeah.
in his life, in all aspects of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't realize, he's not mature enough to realize that Veronica is actually great for him.
Yep. Yeah.
So
he's painting her fingernails and having a nice conversation, and she brings him lasagna, and even though they had a fight, she comes back and is like, I hope you're okay now. And he's like, I'm what did he say? He's like, I'm okay. I'm still mad, but
37.
Yeah. That's a more mature way to handle a fight than
holding a grudge.
And then getting back together with the girl who you knew cheated on you repeatedly.
After you just saw a dude who admitted that, I was fucking her while you were dating. Nothing personal.
That's so messed up.
You immediately go to her and say, just because she says, I want to be back with you, that just means that he's wanted, and that's... Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes it's just anybody who pays you any kind of attention.
Yeah. Well, in the attention that you're used to.
Especially when he's like a 16-year-old or whatever he was when they started dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a lot about maturity, and lack of maturity is the hallmark of Kevin Smith films. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there's a real intelligence behind the stories and the characters.
I read something once, adults who act like children, but then they learn to grow. That is a theme that other people have taken on. So people like Judd Apatow. Judd Apatow has a slew of movies like that. And it was something like Judd Apatow smelt it, but Kevin Smith dealt it, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Where he originated that concept of grown men acting like children. And it's funny, but it's also it can be heartwarming.
Yeah, and you could just create a genre behind this and call it like what is it? The slacker comedy?
The slacker comedy.
Yeah. The Clerks is the originator of that entire genre. Mm-hmm. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's where we're gonna leave it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. We're gonna continue on with a bunch more movies.
So many more movies.
So many more. Guys, we've got a spreadsheet. Because I love making
Trent loves spreadsheets. He's a nerd.
I just like making spreadsheets. Not because I need to, but because it's so much better organized than trying to remember which ones we have and haven't done and trying to reference which ones we have and haven't seen. Anyway, but if you would like to contact us, follow us on Twitter, neverseenit_pod, or you can email us at neverseenitpod@gmail.com.
We like email.
We like receiving all sorts of correspondence from our listeners.
And tweets.
And the tweeters.
It's true.
But until we meet again, this has been Never Seen It. I'm Trent.
I'm Betsy.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.